Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the greatest of all time, the never seen 17, gracing insert city here with his presence for the final time, the last real champion, John Cena! Like, I love that introduction. We waited so long to have the John Cena heel run, and in 2025 we got it, and unfortunately it fell short of the glory. Hey everybody, SonGoshuaku here. So I grew up in the new generation era and got hooked during the Attitude Era. So I was definitely before John Cena's time. So I was like a teenager growing up during the big John Cena babyface run. And when that was going on, man, you know, you had a lot of people complaining at the time about the whole Super Cena, and I was still learning about the business. In fact, it was shout out to my boy Aaron Riff of NoDQ.com. I learned more about how, you know, John Cena, he's doing what Vince McMahon says. He's doing all that stuff and everything. And stuff like that. So as I grew and had more appreciation learning about the business, I warmed up to John Cena. And I always admit it though, even before I found that out, John Cena I thought has had some of the best matches in WWE history. Love that I Quit match going back with JBL, and then the matches with CM Punk, which I attended live, Money in the Bank 2011, phenomenal. That was my favorite match in person, and the stuff he was doing during his US title reign, man, good stuff. Everything. So I despite me not being the biggest John Cena fan, I've never allowed that to hold me back from saying that he couldn't have great matches. He absolutely could, but the issue was very much like Roman Reigns after him. It was the booking. The way Vince McMahon through so much of his run pushed him as Super Cena, you know, it was like, we need something fresh, something new, whether it was a heel or a face. And for us, so many of us, we wanted the heel, and it looked like that was going to happen with The Rock when he wrestled him in 2012. And of course we didn't get it. And John Cena said he made new music, new gear, but Vince McMahon got cold feet and we never got it. So when John Cena announced his retirement tour, I was saying, now's the time. We've had 20 plus years of the same old John Cena being the old hustle, loyalty, respect. I'm like, give us something new in this last run. Because I thought it would be awesome if John Cena could go heel and knock it out of the park, and we could be like, just the way we were saying with like Hulk Hogan, like, man, he did the whole red and yellow babyface thing, and then he went over to the New World Order thing, and then we went over to Roman Reigns, who was doing the big dog thing for so long, and then he became the tribal chief, and we were blown away. I always wanted to see that for John Cena's career, but obviously as time went by, John Cena became more loved by the fans, especially as that fan base that were kids grew up into their early 20s, you know. Now it was like a nostalgia act for John Cena, and I think for fans my generation, a lot of us were seeing that Cena's in-ring work. Certainly he was reinventing himself in the ring, putting out some better matches than we've ever seen before, and I think a lot of people, we softened up to John Cena over time in terms of that, and I think that's what really happened. But I still said we needed that heel turn, and thus enter WWE Elimination Chamber 2025. He hugged Cody Rhodes, and John Cena kicked Cody Rhodes in the balls, and from there joined The Rock and Travis Scott, and we were off to the races. What a moment. It got me up. I was watching with my father at the time, and I remember I was at his house, and I'm looking at it. I was like, oh, they're doing it. I was like, man, the thing I thought we would never get, and man, we got it. And I even predicted it on the No DQ review before that Elimination Chamber show, and I was like, yes, finally, man. It arguably, I'm gonna say it was one of the biggest heel turns in WWE history. I'm not saying runs, keyword turns. In terms of heel turns, this has got to be up there. I'm talking, it's got to be up there with Roman Reigns' heel turn. It's got to be up there with Hulk Hogan's heel turn. It's going to go down as one of the greatest heel turns in WWE or professional wrestling history. And I emphasize once again, I'm talking about turns, not runs. And man, just looking at that site right there, we were off to the races like, holy crap, this WrestleMania build up is going to be phenomenal. And then the run happens. 2 weeks without even saying anything after one of the biggest turns. Like, man, people knew about it. Like, I saw one of my best friends. She doesn't even watch wrestling. And I remember she was telling me that she even knew about it because one of her friends was telling her, because she's a big Kingdom Hearts fan. One of her friends was telling her, like, understand the significance of this. This is like, I think she said her friend was like Sora joining what's the dark, the dark shadowy things from Kingdom Hearts. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts in a while, but you all know what I'm thinking. I forget what they're called, and everything like that. But yeah, it was insane. You know, people were talking about it. This was something that transcended wrestling, and I don't understand why they didn't even go as far as to record stuff with John Cena. I thought they should have recorded stuff with John Cena. The Heartless. Thank you, Brandon, in the chat for letting me know the Heartless. Yes, the Heartless from Kingdom Hearts and stuff like that. So they do this thing where John Cena doesn't record anything, and I'm like, you should have sit him down. You were at Elimination Chamber, and you start teasing something, video packages. But we get to London, and John Cena cuts that first initial promo, and I thought it was great. Him talking about how the fans turned their back on him and he was in an abusive relationship. I thought the first one was great. He didn't acknowledge The Rock. And I'm like, okay, they still got a few weeks left to go. He comes back the next week and he says more or less the same thing and still doesn't acknowledge The Rock. And we're like, okay, what's going on here? And him and Cody finally have their face off, and the promo he cut on Cody Rhodes was really good stuff. That was like kind of like going back to that savage side of John Cena. Him and Cody Rhodes, I thought, had a really good back and forth heading into WrestleMania, and we're still wondering, like, okay, is The Rock gonna show up? Travis Scott was gonna go on here, and I did like that John Cena worked a more methodical style than he usually did in his match with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. But you had Travis Scott take that long walk down to the ring, and a lot of people felt it just killed it. And you have WWE actively having their talent now bury that moment in Travis Scott almost in their appearances. And we get to John Cena doing the low blow and the belt, and he wins his 17th title, and the fans are going crazy. It's hard for the fans to boo John Cena because at this point they're like, you know what? We don't care if he's babyface or heel. John Cena it's the last time to see John Cena. So yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying, that this came too late. They should have did it back in 2012 when fans were still actively booing John Cena. And we got No Rock and Travis, and now that we've gotten more stuff out, and I haven't seen the Unreal series as of August 5th, 2025, when I'm live streaming this. I haven't seen Unreal yet, so I'm not sure how much they go into detail about it in the Unreal series, so I'll check it out eventually. But I still say what I said. The moment they knew The Rock was not going to be able to commit to this, I don't blame them for bringing The Rock in and utilizing him when you can, but a simple idea of John Cena saying, even you don't get The Rock because you don't deserve The Rock, and saying The Rock's not going to be a part about it, it's going to be me. You should have been very clear to the audience right from the start, but they weren't. It's like they were just waiting out to see, is The Rock going to show up? And then they get to WrestleMania, he's not going to show up, but we'll still send Travis Scott out there. So that whole thing was a mess in how they handled it. Like I said, I don't mind The Rock being a part of the heel turn, but they should have they owed it to the fans. WWE owed it to the fans to put some sort of explanation in the storyline right off the bat that The Rock wasn't going to be a part of this, just so you don't temper with expectations of fans going in like, are we going to see The Rock? Are we going to see The Rock? So yeah, you had that. But yeah, John Cena, he then goes into a feud with Randy Orton, and this is where I think some of the issues are coming in, the promos. John Cena can have a different variety. When you've seen him go in on like Roman Reigns, or you see him go in on AJ Styles, or and stuff like that, and some of his best babyface promos are the Usos. You know, Cena, he has his moments when he could talk, and he has like a certain style when the way he talks and everything and stuff like that. Or he'll get into the yelling and all that yelling and stuff. But it seemed like he kept for the longest time, Cena kept going on about, the fans, abusive relationship and yelling. And it's like, okay, I get it. He doesn't like how the fans treated him back in the day, but I wanted to get past that and do more. Like when him and Randy Orton are talking, he's talking about, I thought it was nice to bring up the whole, where he's talking about I think Randy Orton was talking about John Cena. He parent shaming John Cena. That was interesting, see Randy Orton in a different dynamic as the babyface, Cena as the heel. But this is where I wanted to see Cena become more cocky and more arrogant, and him go in more talking about how Randy Orton, he said Randy Orton does the bare minimum, but I would have loved to see him talking about how I always beat you and I was always better, and just see John Cena take on a more arrogant, cocky persona. Instead, it was just what you see there in the image that I used for this. It was just stone-faced Cena talking about, you people, you abuse me in this relationship, and I wanted to see more of that. But match-wise, I thought Randy Orton and John Cena absolutely killed it. I thought they had a great match. One of the best Randy Orton John Cena matches we've seen. So I really did enjoy the match at Backlash, and the crowd atmosphere was insane. Also, I got to admit here, this was a really awesome part of the heel turn. Or I should say, this was a really awesome part of the heel run. I love the whole introduction where in the presentation, I did enjoy them doing the backdrop where it's all black, the simple white text, and Cena would always point to you, come over here and do the announcement right, where they would say, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the greatest of all time, the never seen 17, gracing insert city here with his presence for the final time, the last real champion, John Cena!" I love that introduction. I was trying to sing along with it and everything. I ended up transcribing it right here into my notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget any part of it. I am going to miss that. That was awesome. Another thing, he didn't do different music and he didn't do different attire. And the thing about the music was, for me, with that was, I wanted to hear what was that track he completed. Why not use that track that he completed in 2012 if it was completed? So I was like, what's up with that? And then coming out to no new gear, and I get it. That's what made us want to boo them when he said in the promo, "You do not get new music, you do not get new attire, you get nothing, because that is what you have earned is nothing." So yeah, okay, it is what it is. Alrighty, okay. Yeah, it makes us boo and everything, but I say I don't care. Hulk Hogan came out in the black and white and the NWO, and hey, yeah, he was seen as the cool heel, but whatever. We still remember it to this day. Roman Reigns changed up his gear, his music, his gear. He got in the best shape of his life and started taking the shirt off. And then he had, the new sneakers and the different color, wrists and handband glove that he would wear and stuff. And you know what, even though fans were cheering for him and all that stuff, it's still memorable. So I don't care if the fans would have cheered anyway. I would have loved to seen new gear and hear that 2012 theme that John made and stuff like that. But overall, I will give him credit. The entrance was sick. I love the entrance and the way he would come out not running, and then the way he would sit to the ring apron with his back turned against the camera with the championship facing backwards. I loved it. The entrance was good. I'm going to miss it, and it did grow on me. The act did grow on me on in terms of that. And then we transitioned, I think, from there after Backlash. It was the whole R-Truth stuff and everything that they did on Saturday night's main event. And once again, this is where the heel turn was running. A lot of people were saying, including Aaron Riff of NoDQ.com, John Cena should have certainly did a brutal, vicious beatdown. I'm talking about when Stone Cold Steve Austin was heel, he brutalized Jim Ross and Michael Cole and Hardy Boys and Lita. That type of thing that they did is what they should have had John Cena. If he would have beaten viciously beating down R-Truth. Maybe if they would have agreed to do some color and stuff and everything, that probably would have got a lot of heat, because people loved R-Truth, and they kind of had like a match that didn't do anything. Like, they just had R-Truth come out as John Cena and do some cosplay moves, and then John Cena put him away on Saturday night's main event. It's like, yeah, once again, and I think that was the issue. It just felt like pain, and he kept doing the thing, low blow kick, the championship, the talking about he's the last real champion events, and it just felt it got to the point where it just felt like, man, they're not really utilizing all this. Like, I grew up in a time where Triple H was one of the most vicious heels. The way he was beating down The Rock and Stone Cold and talking about how I crippled them, like, those are the beatdowns I wanted to see John Cena getting. I wanted to see John Cena become some of the most vicious savage, both on the mic and with his actions, but they weren't. It was just very basic stuff, and it's like, it just seems like someone here is not committing. Like, whether it be the storylines, maybe they don't want to get in there, and I get it. They created all this merchandise for John Cena. They obviously spent this a year in advance, and they wanted to make sure they still got their money's worth for whatever it cost to make that merchandise, to get that money back for every city. And it's a smart thing to do. And I did appreciate that it at least did make it most of his gear black and stuff like that. So there you go on that part. And of course, eventually, I think the first promo, though, that really stood out to me, where we started getting the real good Cena promos, was when they, chose not to renew R-Truth's deal, and the fans are chanting, "We want truth. We want truth. We want truth." And John Cena goes like, you want the truth? He says, well, here is the truth. I'm the last real champion, and you can't handle the truth. No, I think that's what he said. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth, right? That was a great promo. He probably improvised that, and that got a lot of crowd heat. I'm like, see, that's the John Cena we need to be seeing for this heel run. And he had that Money in the Bank where it's him and Logan Paul going up against who did they face? It was him versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. I think that was at Money in the Bank, and you get the return of R-Truth, and that was a big, huge segment. And they eventually do R-Truth in John Cena, which is certainly not a match that was probably planned. It was more serious, but they didn't have any plan, you could tell, with it, as far as because they didn't expect the backlash for R-Truth getting or Ron Killens being what was it, eliminate Ron Killens being getting so over with the audience when they chose not to release him. So their match, though, was a little bit better than what you got on Saturday night's main event. It was kind of just a backdrop for him and CM Punk, which I really did enjoy, by the way, him throwing CM Punk through the table, and the way he did CM Punk's he ripped off a CM Punk's promo, one of the best John Cena heel promos we got. And this is what I was saying, even though I didn't do a review for it on this channel, CM Punk and John Cena truly brought out the best in each other. They always have, and I think that's even for this heel run. And I enjoyed CM Punk trying to rip off of John Cena's basic thugonomics when they went over to Saudi Arabia. And that was a great promo too, when he's like, you'll get your match with me, CM Punk, but you'll get it in Saudi Arabia, and called him a hypocrite. And this is where I feel like, okay, the John Cena heel run is getting really good. We're now getting to much better creative promos that John Cena is delivering there. So I really enjoyed that. I love their match that they had at, what was it, United Champions. Good stuff. CM Punk and John Cena, they killed it in the Elimination Chamber, and I thought they killed it when they went out there. Not to the matches that they had back at Money in the Bank, or even on Raw in 2013, or some of those other matches they had also at United Champions in 2012. But it was still very good. They still had that chemistry, and the matches with them, I thought, man, was really good. The match they had there, it's a shame they had to get completely at the end overbooked and stuff, because they were trying to keep John Cena protected with the fact that he had to cheat against Randy Orton, cheat against CM Punk. But I still thought phenomenal overall. I really enjoyed the John Cena CM Punk match, as I was saying here in the ranking video for SummerSlam. So I really felt like this summer John Cena was really starting to go in the right direction with the heel turn, or the heel run. And then CM, of course, we had Cody Rhodes come back, and John Cena's, I can't go ahead and do this match. I can't do it, and stuff like that. And then he knocks out, Cody Rhodes knocks out John Cena, and then forges his signature. And we get the really good promo when John Cena comes back and basically says that, I guess this was finally our official reason behind The Rock and Travis Scott, because he says to Cody Rhodes is that you woke me up from who I am, and woke me up to be who I truly am, and it's not coming out here basically doing this and not acting like myself because I was talked in about how it would be shocking TV from people who eventually would end up abandoning me, talking about basically how The Rock and Travis Scott abandoned him after that. And I guess that was our official thing, and they could have just said that from the start or something like that. But but it was a great promo as far as him going back into babyface. The only thing about that is that John Cena, they were even teasing it like he was still, going out and basically just holding the title up regularly like he was, and still coming out with the black screen and the light. So I was like, okay, this is going to be like the old Stone Cold. But sure enough, he came in during his match with Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam 2025, SummerSlam 2025, and he went back to the babyface entrance. At first, they made it look like it was going to be the heel Cena entrance, and he went back into the full throttle babyface entrance, getting all energetic and running down, and they had an amazing match. And at the end, John Cena, he didn't decide to use the title, and he embraced Cody Rhodes and really put him over as, he is the guy. He is the face of WWE now. And with Brock Lesnar's return, they firmly established that it's going to be heel Brock Lesnar against babyface John Cena, and thus the John Cena heel turn has come to an end. So how will we look back on this heel run? Will we look back on it kindly? I see somebody in the chat right now. Chip says NWO Hulk Hogan and John Cena was really boring. So wow, I think a lot of people would definitely disagree with you on NWO Hulk Hogan, or that maybe it did eventually get to that point. But essentially what you said about John Cena was really boring. That's what a lot of people, they felt the heel turn just wasn't doing it. They felt it wasn't. I personally, and shout out to Notorious Heels podcast, I thought they made a great point where they were saying that they think when the dust is settled and John Cena's heel run, he feels like people are going to look back on this probably a year from now in 2026 and be like, man, we should have appreciated the John Cena heel run more than what we did. Well, you know what? I'm glad to say that I am appreciating it, because it didn't live up to what I was hoping. But I'm still glad we got it, because like I said at the beginning of this video, we needed John Cena to do something new and fresh. And I don't think this build up, and I don't think these matches would have been exciting if it would have been the same old John Cena. It was refreshing to see a heel Cena going into WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes. It was refreshing to finally see a babyface Randy Orton versus a heel John Cena, a babyface CM Punk versus a heel John Cena. These were new, different takes on these feuds that we never got before, and I'm glad we got it. Yeah, it was a little tame. Yeah, it didn't live up to its full potential, but you know what? It's better, as they say, it's better to try something in life and fail than to never try something at all and wonder what if. Yeah, the Cena heel run didn't turn out to what it needed to be, but I'm glad WWE at least tried. I'm glad that before John Cena called it quits, we can say we got it. But I think what held it back from being as great as it can be, shout out to my boy Steve-O of Too Sweet Cosplay, them not wanting to commit to new music, them not wanting to commit to new gear, them holding back, I think Cena, the whole Rock and Travis Scott thing that turned into a big mess from the start. These are the things that I think really held it back. And then the promos, like I said, waiting all the way until really you get to the CM Punk feud, I think, to where we started getting kind of what John Cena's promos were like, and then doing the heel, but only in the heel version the version of the heel run, heel sense. I felt like that kind of is what really made it not live up to its full potential. But I'm glad we got it. I love the entrance. Like I said, the ring announcement, it really grew on me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the John Cena heel turn for what it was, and I'm glad we got a fresh take on John Cena after him doing the same old thing for so long, and I appreciate it for that. The last 4 months, we're going to get John Cena as a babyface, but yeah, I'm glad we got it. Overall, I'm in the middle in terms of John Cena. I think there was enough good in this John Cena heel run that I cannot say it was the worst heel run of all time, or it's among the worst heel run. I think there was enough good stuff here that kept it from that. But unfortunately, the issues that I mentioned, I feel will forever keep it from being among the greatest heel runs. Can't put it up there with Hulk Hogan. Can't put it up there with Roman Reigns when it came to them turning heel. But hey, I can put this over the Stone Cold Steve Austin heel run. And hey, Stone Cold Steve Austin is my all favorite. And I see there's been a lot of talk about Stone Cold in the chat that I'm going to get here. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, his heel run right there, man, it was tough to watch Austin crying and hugging Vince McMahon, but he also had his funny moments. There was a lot of great entertaining moments we got of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the matches were good. But it did bad for business, and it really took all the way till just now in recent years for WWE to recover from that. WWE's in such a good place business-wise that the John Cena heel turn obviously didn't do bad business. I mean, look, they sold a ton of that merchandise, and that's always what John Cena's done. Sold a ton of merchandise for WWE. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm thankful we got it. It unfortunately unfortunately did not live up to its full potential, but I'm glad we got the John Cena heel run, and that's my overall take on John Cena's heel run, the good and the bad. Overall, it had its moments, but man, it was too much in the middle. It was like, yeah, this is good, but then that's good. It's just too much of a middle of the run heel run. Like, what do people like to say? Mid, that's the popular thing now. Yeah, it was a mid heel run. I wouldn't say it was the worst, but I can't say it was the best. It was mid. But granted, I'm thankful for what we got, because we sit through the same old thing with John Cena for the longest time, and I'm glad we got at least something of a different take on it and everything.